Good evening, ladies and gentlemen in the audience. I should say this time, because it's really a pleasure to welcome the guest of honor, Mrs. H.K.Joshi, CMD SAI, on all the very own, my very own amazing seafarer ladies. I am really grateful to be here and privileged to welcome all of you. This webinar is organized in collaboration with Paradigm Shift Company. Just a few words about the Amazeng Nautical Association that we have formed about 2 months back. And it is to promote the activities towards the marine fraternity and for the welfare of the said fraternity. It also helps in providing a forum for marine engineers for discussion on all questions affecting them directly or indirectly, technically and non-technically also, while working on the ship. Association members also meet to facilitate the interchange of ideas, encourage, assist, and extend knowledge and information connected to shipbuilding industry and the allied activities of the shipping industry. We are also an association that are working towards creating entrepreneurs by hand-holding the new entrants in the marine engineering business after their sailing service out at sea. So I welcome all of you, and now I would request Dipisha to take over and as a paradigm shift from me to the ladies. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Paradigm Shift. We are in collaboration this evening with the Amazeng Nautical Association. And good evening, ladies. You know, we've been missing in action since December last. And so here we are back with a bang with six incredible ladies. Good evening, ladies. We have a lot of firsts, we have a lot of youngest. So we're stay tuned. We are going to be connecting with each one of them and their amazing journeys. We start with a warm welcome to our very dynamic, very gorgeous guest of honor, Mrs. H.K. Joshi, the First Lady, Chairman, Managing Director of Shipping Corporation of India. For those of you who haven't watched her episode with the Paradigm Shift, where she talks about her life, how she sailed through with absolute ease and elan and elegance. We will be dropping a link in the video below once this video is uploaded. So do give that a watch, because that is full of lot of interesting stories over there. Before I welcome her and ask her to open this meeting, I want to read a little bit about her. For those of you who don't know her, and all of you here, I'm sure, know a lot about her. Mr. H.K. Joshi, Chairperson and Managing Director, Director of Finance, CFO of Shipping Corporation of India. During her term in SCI, she held multiple additional charges from time to time at the board level, various awards. Vista India Personality of the Year 2020, the CEO with HR Orientation Award at the 28th edition of World HRD Congress 2020, Sailor Today Seashore Awards 2019 under the category of Woman of Substance, the Best Woman Employee Award, first place executive category 2018 by the Forum of Women in the Public Sector, the 10th India CFO Awards Excellence in Finance to Enable a Turnaround 2016, hosted by the International Market Assessment India Private Limited, the most influential CFO India Award by the Chartered Institute of Management Accounts UK for consecutive 2 years, 2015 and 2016 CMA CFO Award from the Institute of Cost Accountants India. Dynamic, result-oriented to sum it up, a focused leader, guide, mentor, and taking the path less trodden. Wow, I think I sound like Shankar Mahadevan doing a breathless song. So this is Miss H.K. Joshi for you, ladies. She has set the bar high, and this is the tone of today's discussion with these incredible ladies, to take the path less trodden. This is for inspiring all the young aspirants who want to enter this marine field. So, welcome to you, very, very warm welcome to you, Mr. H.K. Joshi, ma'am. Would you like to open this session?
Thank you, Deepshika. In fact, that really didn't sound as if you were talking about me. I was also listening as if it was somebody else you were talking about. I would first like to thank the Paradigm Shift and Amazeng Nautical Association for this wonderful collaboration and giving us an opportunity. And you've got all the women at sea, but you've got a diverse age group, which is phenomenal. And I think that is something which is very praiseworthy. And I would like to hand over to you, Deepshika, because you conduct these sessions with such panache that I wouldn't like to I leave it entirely to you how you would. From my side, I wish a lot of success for this session, and I hope there are plenty of viewers who would have some takeaways from what we are going to talk about today. So over to you, Deepshika.
Okay, so since since you told me even yesterday on our telephonic conversation that you love my questions, here is one that I think will be an absolute takeaway for everybody. Tell us about your inspiration, your source of inspiration that keeps you motivated from the start of your career up until now when you are at the pinnacle of leadership and success.
Deepshika, as always, I said you have wonderful questions, but your simple questions are quite complex and very deep. And so is this one. It's not an easy one to answer because inspiration, I would say, cannot be consistent throughout your journey, and life or your career is actually a journey. And what inspires you at a point of time may not inspire you at another point of time. So I would say inspiration is related to a situation, it's related to a circumstance, it's related to a position, it's related to a level. And as you keep evolving, your inspirations need to keep evolving. You can't have static inspirations, otherwise you'll be static at your progress. That's my take on it. So I've had various inspirations along my journey. And today, when I came for this session, my inspiration was something very different from the inspiration I have when I'm doing my task as CMD SCI.
That was lovely. That was absolutely lovely. So, ma'am, should we then start with each one of them and then, listen to their pearls of wisdom over here? So, should we start?
Yeah. I look forward to that. I want to listen to youngsters. They always motivate and energize me.
Absolutely, young energy. Okay, so thank you so much. We move on to Miss Suneeti Bala, the first lady chief engineer and an extra first class engineer. She is an ex-marine, class surveyor, auditor. She is an ex-DMET. She started her sailing career with Chevron Shipping and grew up to become the first Indian lady sailing chief engineer on board MT SCI Albert Ecker. She's also the first lady marine field surveyor of India. She is the co-founder of International Women Seafarers Foundation and has a passion to make maritime industry a gender neutral industry, currently also working as a quality manager with Maersk Shipping Company. Hi Suneeti, how are you?
Hi, Deepshika. Hi, everyone. A very warm good evening from Germany. And I'm good, great, actually, seeing so many ladies here. It's really great, great, Thank you.
Super. So, Suneeti, your first question. What was your calling towards marine engineering? I mean, why did you get into this field?
Yeah, Deepshika, in fact, this is the question I have been constantly asked, and I think same would be the story with all other marine engineers. And matter of fact, it was not something which was in my mind. It just happened itself. So I always wanted to do something different for sure, and that's the time I was looking to become a pilot. And women in pilot or air industry was not very common that time. It was just announced that time that the girls are now can join. So I tried my luck there, but I got little short on my leg length, and then I had to choose something different. And that's when I thought, okay, I was definitely quite passionate about being engineer. So I was preparing for IIT. And that time, DMT had entrance exams through the IIT, and that's how I landed there. So by coincidence, it happened. Until the time I didn't go for campus, I didn't know there is no girl. So during the campus, when other parents from the Calcutta who knew about the college, who knew about the maritime world, because I had no clue about the maritime world that time, they told my father, who was with me, that where are you sending your daughter? Are you sure that you want to send her there? And that's when we came to know, okay, there is no girl. And my father was feeling more proud on me, and he asked me, "Are you fine?" I said, "Yeah, of course." And that's how it happened. And I never regretted. My father is still very proud of me that way. So
Amazing. That is so cool. Okay, so when you were sailing, you were the first sailing lady marine engineer. Was there any task, Suneeti? Okay, not as chief engineer maybe, but at the lower rungs, was there any task that you felt that you couldn't carry out as a woman?
when you say any task, so I will divide this question in two parts. There are tasks which you have to do as an engineer on board. It means dealing with the machineries, dealing with the operation, dealing with the technical items, technical things, processes. And I can tell you, I didn't find any difficulty in any of those tasks. Initially, people thought maybe, that it's a very physically demanding job or profession, and that was something was put in my mind when I was in college. So from my third year, I was even trying to build my physical strength. I did a lot of training that time, and I didn't find even physical strength as a challenge on board. I was doing pretty fine. Now coming to the second part of this, the difficult task is also comes with the man management on board, or for that matter anywhere else in this industry. And that's where I would say that every ship, and I think all ladies sitting here would agree with me, that that was a challenge we all faced whenever we were joining a new ship. We had to prove ourselves that yes, we are as competent as anyone else in this rank would be. And that was the challenge. But I can tell you that with my, or in fact, I can quote this for all other ladies, that our perseverance, this was something that it let everybody understood, yes, we are as good as they are, maybe better than them.
Amazing. So, out of all the journeys that you took as a I mean, as a sailing in your sailing time, what was your most challenging voyage?
I can definitely say that that was my last voyage with SCI, the Albert Eka. That was the most challenging one, and at the same time, the most memorable one and the most successful one. And if you ask reason, uh, I was given the ship, which was 25-year-old, was on its last leg of voyage, where she was supposed to go for the scrap. And as a chief, I was given challenge that I need to have this ship running till my contract, which was 6 months, and otherwise the ship was going for scrap next 2 months. And that was a challenge which I accepted, and I can proudly say that it was there when I was signing off after 6 months. So that was most successful. I got the fantastic love of crew on board. Yes, there also for initial days I had to prove myself because they all had doubt about me, because yeah, this was first time they was even hearing about and seeing first time a lady as a chief engineer. They had all the doubts, but I can tell you that first 15 days all doubts were clear, and I got all the trust and love from the crew, which was amazing, literally amazing. We all worked together to run that ship on top of its performance. It was a
Amazing.
successful fact, yeah.
That is amazing. Tell us about your current role as a co-founder of International Women Seafarers Foundation. What are the things that you people are doing in this space?
Oh, that's really lovely. In fact, this is something which is close to my heart. And even Reshma is the managing committee member there. We have a lot of inputs from them, and coming together on one platform as women seafarers and working out solutions for the challenges we have faced or the girls who are facing now is amazing journey we had, and we are continuing. There is a lot of work which needs to be done, but we are very proud to say that since we have come into picture, there is a lot of awareness. There is a lot of work which has gone into the industry. I can particularly vouch for the Indian industry, where the government, the companies, Madam Joshi, everyone has put in their effort, and we all have worked along where we could now change the mindset of people, because I can see that slowly that is happening. Number of companies who have started hiring the women seafarers has gone up from past, and more companies look forward to give the conducive work environment. And there I can definitely be proud as IWSF that we had our policy guidelines for the employment of women seafarers, where government of India leadershiping, they really helped us, and we worked in collaboration to bring these guidelines for the Indian industry, and that really helped not only the girls but also the companies who wanted to have these girls on board and be prepared for that. And there is still a lot of work which we need to do, basically, again, with the employment of women seafarers and work environment on board. So we are continuously working, and we hope to have more hands joining in, more ideas, more solutions to put in, not only for India, but in future globally. So wishing for that.
Amazing. We wish you all the best, Suneeti, so that you can achieve all that you want to achieve with this organization of yours. So thank you so much for your time. And I think we'll move on to the next guest, that is Miss Reshma Nilofer. Thank you,
Pleasure was
Suneeti.
mine. Thanks.
Reshma, before I begin, I want to read a little bit of you. Can these people be muted? Okay. Reshma Nilofer, the First Lady Pilot at Syama Prasad Mukherjee Port, formerly as known as Kolkata Port Trust. She is an ex-Merck's container dual program sponsored candidate. Reshma has been working as an independent pilot since 2018. Been recognized with the Nari Shakti Puraskar 2019 by the Honorable President of India, the highest civilian honor for women in India, and a Limca record for being the first and the only female maritime pilot in India. Reshma works towards bringing other women in the fraternity. She's a crusader for improved pilot ladder safety and compliance in the country. She's a promoter and an advocate for gender diversity, inclusion, and sensitivity in the maritime industry. Fabulous. Good evening, Reshma. So nice to have you with us.
Yeah, hi, good evening, everyone. And Deepshika, thank you so much for bringing this platform live, because given the COVID times, we've hardly been able to meet any of these amazing women, and some of them I've never known. So it's great to meet everybody, at least virtually. It's a great opportunity to connect with so many people.
Amazing. So, Reshma, to start with your first question, for all our non-mariners audience that will be watching this later,
There's some noise.
Yeah. Okay. So, for all our non-mariner audience, we want to know, what is a pilot in the marine line, in the marine shipping line?
Yeah, so thanks for asking that question, because I wished you did. Because even today we get asked, the moment we say we are pilot, we get asked as, which airline do you work and what kind of air buses do you pilot and all. So maritime pilots are basically navigational experts who are usually attached to a particular port. So we are based in each port. So every port in the world will have pilots attached to that particular port, and we are navigational experts, and we guide ships in and out of this port where we work. So we go as advisors and an external addition to the bridge team which works on board to bring in and take out a ship from the port, because every port will have its own geographical issues or issues that need to be taken into consideration when bringing a vessel ashore, because ships are meant to be on the water. So when you bring them near land, you need to have so many parameters on the watch. So that is what we go and do, and we go as advisors to the captains on board, and we conduct the navigation in particularly our port in Calcutta. We also conduct navigation here for the ships which are coming in. And so it's more like a, in simple terms, for a lay person who's listening, it's more like a, to be putting it in a fun way, I will say we are like valet parking people, for the ships. So we just take over from there and we are like, Captain, take it easy, we are here, so that's how it is.
Okay, I think that sums it up, so that people have it clear how you fly the ships into the ports. That is
Yeah.
amazing. Okay,
Yes,
so are you still the only lady pilot all over
absolutely.
India? Wow.
Unfortunately, so yeah, I'm the only one till now.
Okay, so how did you get into this line?
Again, like Suneeti said, I'm also a first generation seafarer in my family, so absolutely no idea about what shipping is and what sort of a job I was getting into. Even that I did not know. I was just fresh from school and I was looking for for an offbeat career, so that had me searching from corner to corner. Then it just so happened that there was a newspaper ad which said the Danish shipping giant Maersk Line was sponsoring and also giving employment eventually for a big group of people. So we had sort of an entrance exam, and then I had to apply. And I got through the test and all the various levels of, finding out if you were suitable. So all that happened and I got through. So at that time, all I knew was just, some very, very naive ideas about shipping, like how it was shown in Titanic and things like that, and movies like of those times. And I knew nothing about it. So when I actually went to the college and then had my interview and other procedures, that's when I came to know that, oh, there's hardly any women out here. And then we were the only five women who were girls who were joining in that college at that time. So like all eyes were on us. So that's when
Wow.
we even came to know this is the scene. And then eventually it hit us that we are a very minority group of girls here. Yeah, but no looking back ever since.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember when Titanic came out, I did not watch that movie till my husband quit sailing. I said, I cannot
Oh,
watch it, because for me, it was less romantic and more traumatic,
heartbreak.
because
I know, panics.
I
No,
mean, the
but
way.
fortunately for me, interesting thing is that like how Suneeti had a conversation with her father, she says, I never had a conversation with my parents like that, because they never doubted me. And the other thing was, there were so many people coming and telling them, are you sure, and all that. That question was there, but then they never asked me anything. They said, it's your choice, I mean, just go for it if you want to do it. So it
Cool.
just happened. So yeah.
Amazing. So, when, like you say, that you lead the ships into the port, what was your most challenging maneuver of all times up until now?
See, I cannot pinpoint to one particular incident or one particular day, because, that's what is interesting about this job itself. There's absolutely no monotony. You cannot plan everything ahead. Although you would have a plan, every ship would be different. She would behave differently. The conditions, the prevailing conditions of that day would be different. So each day is a challenge, and that's what I think keeps me alive and kicking, because every day is like it's never going according to plan. There will be challenges every day, but then I would say the most difficult ones are where uh, the days when we have bad weather, as in there's very strong currents or very strong winds, and they are not in line with my plan of how I would berth a ship. So that happens very often too. Again, bad weather is very common in the monsoon seasons, so it has been difficult. We've had a lot of difficult times, in addition to the natural scenario, the natural causes, like the parameters like wind and all the others. When there is an additional issue with the vessel itself, with the ship itself, when there is a breakdown, like a mechanical breakdown, so when there's the engine is giving up, saying, oh no, I cannot, give me a break. Or when you have you're like a steering failure or something. So when we have failures, that's when it becomes even more difficult. And that is when the pilot actually gets a test of their abilities, because that is what they are meant to handle. And they've been trained to do this all their lives. So that is when your actual talent and your skill comes into play, and you still get the vessel to safety in a safe place. So that's happened a lot of times, Deepshika. I cannot point out this one, that one, but then it happens often. And especially in our river, we have a very, very narrow channel, very strong tides. I always say this everywhere, that the river Hooghly, which is a distributary of Ganges, this is also one of the toughest rivers in the world, which is a navigable river water. So every day is a challenge, Deepshika, but it keeps me alive, keeps your blood warm.
All the best to you. Okay, one more question. You're a crusader for improved ladder safety and compliance in the country. Please tell us a little more about this.
Yeah, so I started keeping a tab of what ships I climb and can climb down. And I always kept a tab of how many are giving me a compliant ladder. So we have all these regulations, like hundreds of regulations for each small item on board, which includes a pilot ladder, which is a rope ladder by climbing which we get on board or disembark. So this ladder, it's like I'm blindly having to put my life on that ladder, trusting the seamanship skills and the ability of the people on board. Now, when I started noticing there are so many little mistakes here and there, thereby getting the ladder non-compliant, I started taking a note of the common mistakes. So that's what got me into a figure, at the end of the year, I got to a figure where it was like an alarming and whopping 60% ladders are non-compliant. Either it's some small mistakes, or one or two, there's a big mistake too. So then I started keeping tab. That's one, I started keeping a note. But then I started on to educating people on the very common little mistakes which they do, which would just need a little tweak here and there, and then they would become compliant. It's not that people want to kill me or something. Everybody wants a smooth transition from the pilotage waters until the berth in the lock or the docks, and then come out. So slowly I started getting people to agree with me. The people on board, I tell them, how can this be made better? So if just talking to them, having a good conversation with people on board, that itself has helped the numbers come down. Now the latest figure which I have is about 56%, which is a great change for one person to do. And I'm hoping that there will be more and more crusaders. I don't want to be the only one. Hopefully very soon I will have more support for this thing. And I think however small my change is, it's going to save many lives through time. So I'm happy to do that.
That was amazing because I remember I climbed one such ladder in Korea, I think that was, and it was freezing, and my hands were, I mean, I had gloves on, but they were numb. I couldn't feel them, and I had to climb that ladder up the ship, and I was so scared because I said, if I fall in that water, that freezing water, I am so frozen. So anyway, I made it, and I'm here today. So
one broken toe.
one broken toe. That was Singapore. That was the gangway went bam on my toe. So okay, so that's a different story. So thank you so much, Reshma, for doing this and being here with us. We move on to Nyari. Thank you so much, Reshma. Do we have Nyari already?
Yeah, hi Deepshika, I'm there.
Hi, Nyari. Good evening. You had
Yeah,
some
hi.
I think you got delayed, so good. So before we start with you, Nyari, I want to read a little bit about you. So then we can start with the question. Nyari Nain, a marine engineer on board foreign-going vessels, currently working as fleet superintendent with Maersk. She's an author, Anchor My Heart, her first book. In India, the book was released by Honorable Nitin Gadkari, the shipping minister, and was recently unveiled at Sharjah International Book Fair. She's also a TEDx speaker. She's a national level volleyball player and a national level debater. She was also featured in Friday Magazine Dubai and awarded with the Young Seafarer Achievement Award by NMDCC DG Shipping Government of India. Hi, Nyari. Good evening.
Hi, Deepshika. Thanks for that elaborated introduction. Sort of made my day after a hectic, end weekend. Yeah, towards the
Absolutely.
weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
We come to your first question. As usual, like I'm asking everybody, how did you get into this field?
Yeah, and as usual, everybody would agree to that being an accident, more of a planned juncture. But yeah, so I was preparing for IIT JEE, and I got selected in the extended merit list, wherein there were four options, and one of them was Merchant Navy. That's how I actually, got into that track. That oh, okay, this is one option.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's how I came into the maritime industry.
Okay. So tell us, when you were sailing and, like you must be also probably the only woman sailing and, you've had so many voyages. Was there any time that did you feel like quitting that, okay, bus, ye nahi hoga? Because I've heard a lot of, forget women, I've heard a lot of young, cadets or, fifth engineers or, on the navigation side, they would just leave and come. This life is too tough. So did you ever feel like quitting?
I don't know somehow, but I have this nag of it in me that no matter how much somebody wants to make me feel that this is not where I should belong, or even the circumstances make you feel so, but I sort of take it more into that okay, why not? I'll do this. I'll do this. So every time there was a hurdle, like say as a junior engineer, when I was told that how will you manage as a fourth engineer, so my target was, okay, I'll show them how a fourth engineer looks like. Then I become a fourth. Yeah. So every time there was never a question of quitting. It was always about winning the next pedestal.
Amazing, amazing. So, Abhibi, I'm sure you don't look like a fleet super. So, because I remember my sailing days, and when the superintendents would come on board, they used to be, no offense to and no body shaming, but they used to be these big pot-bellied guys who would be a super, and you look all of what, 15, 16, 18 maybe.
Oh my God, that's a compliment. uh,
So
yeah, so
how do people deal with you?
I think there is more to do with what you bring on the table rather than how your physical outset is. So that's where we are breaking that stereotypical outlook of how a marine engineer or a superintendent should be. And every time when people ask me that you don't look like an engineer, you don't look like a marine engineer, and I'm like, that's good. No, who wants to look like a marine engineer with dirty oil lube oil, heavy oil. Who wants to do that? So it's better that I don't look like, and I am one.
Amazing.
So yeah, but if you see the team bonding that I have here in Maersk, it's been fantastic. The journey has been great for the past. I joined in May last year, and even though I've not really met so many of them, but I think what matters is how much you care for them and how much their opinions, you're able to bring them count. So that's what is holding on so far.
So you're enjoying this new role of, being hands-on to this superintendent, where leading the pack. So how does it feel to be on the other side?
I would say that from the learning perspective, it's like completing a 360-degree circle. You tend to sort of start appreciating what the other side was until now, messaging and asking, commanding, and you were like, what they don't understand what happens on board. So now you're on the other side of it. But I would say that the reason why we hire seafarers or marine engineers into these roles as managers of vessels is because we still keep that ethos of being seafarers alive even in this role.
Okay.
Yeah, so when we are giving those commands, we should always be aware that we were there when there was this particular situation and what all hurdles were there. So it's very important. So that sort of appreciation has come into myself, my learning that on both the sides, what is the balance that you're got to keep as a team lead. And
Amazing.
most importantly, I've begun to enjoy weekends, which earlier used to be like maybe 3 months, 4 months of Sundays only. Now it's like, oh my God, it's a Friday. Wow, I have 2 days.
Very good. So also, we will not let you go without talking about your book. You're an author. So tell us a little bit about your book and your TEDx experience, about that. And then, of course, we could put in some links where people could go on YouTube and find your TEDx talks.
Oh yeah, so the book is called Anchor My Heart, and it revolves around a female protagonist who is also a marine engineer. She joins as a fourth engineer, and then the journey grows adventurous and dangerous, and then she's stuck between this a long distance relationship that is slowly going to reaching its maelstrom. So that's all. It's about a lifestyle of a seafarer, not just from a female perspective, but you can get an idea of when even as a supernumerary that you've sailed, and if you read the book, you'll sort of connect. Oh yeah, okay, that is where this happened. Oh yeah, that's how it looked like. So my idea was to let people know that how it is to work on board, and also always keep struggling to make our relationships work, how much we do.
I know. I think that was the time when I wrote the longest letters, and yes, Sanjeev also wrote me the longest letter. And he would, and he used to get me back a pack of calling cards, and he said, "This is the amount of calls that I made to you. They're still there."
That's super romantic. Yeah.
That was $15 a minute, by the way.
Oh my God, we had $15 for 1 hour.
Oh wow!
So that's the change. But now they have Wi-Fi's, and you can make WhatsApp calls at least.
Right, amazing. So thank you so much, Nyari, for doing this. And we move on to our next guest. Thank you so much, Nyari.
Thank you.
Our next guest is Supriya Doke. She is a performance manager at Anglo Eastern Management Limited. She started her career with Shipping Corporation of India Limited into 2010, joined her first vessel as fifth engineer in 2011, was promoted to the rank of chief engineer in 2020. She sailed as a chief engineer on an all-woman ship, MT Swarna Krishna, owned by SCI. That must have been an interesting sail. Hi, Supriya. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, Deepshika. Thanks. How are you?
All good. So let's move on to your first question. like everybody else, what brought you to this field? Because your background was, your dad was a banker, your mom was a nurse. So how did you get into this field?
Yeah, like all others, even I was not knowing about the field. Actually, that this is called. I was knowing that what is merchant navy. I was knowing the term merchant navy, but when I joined, when I appeared for the examination, actually I did a BTech mechanical, and after that I was trying for different government jobs like BRC, ISRO, and BHAL, or I have appeared for several examinations. So one among them was Shipping Corporation of India. So when I cleared Shipping Corporation of India, that time I thought, okay, I have achieved what I wanted to achieve. So I was happy that way. But I was not knowing that this is actually the merchant navy. So when we after that we were sent to Mary Mumbai for the pre-sea training. So I feel at that time I realized that this was something different because they were all males and I was the only female at Mary Mumbai also. So that time I came to know that this was merchant navy, that we have to sail for 6 months. So things like that. But another thing which inspired me at that point of time, that this was a very technical kind of job, which will help me, to make use of my knowledge which I have learned during my engineering years, actually on board practically. So that is what kept me inspiring, in spite of people around me telling me to, let go this. This is not your cup of tea, because we Maharashtrians actually we are kind of very much means don't prefer to move out of away from our homes. I feel that is the general Maharashtrian mentality. I'm not sure, but so everyone around me was telling me to just quit it. So, but that thing, even I was a little bit worried because of such uh, things from others. But that thing that kept me moving in this is that I will be in a totally technical role on board.
Okay, amazing. So tell us about the all-woman ship, MT Suvarna. What was that like?
Yeah, being on MT Swarna Krishna, it was experience of responsibility, and also at the same time a lot of excitement. And this takes me 10 years back when I joined Merchant Navy, because the number of Indian girls in shipping now, as compared to then, has shooted up staggeringly. And I feel it is an achievement for all of us. Other than this, I feel that during initial years of my career, I have always been kind of isolated on board, because I was the only girl mostly. And of course I made good male friends, but all I felt a bit restricted always when I was on board, because restricted towards socializing more, because I was the only female always. So when I came to know that there is going to be a ship, they are planning to post all women officers. And thanks to H.K. Joshi ma'am, it was her vision to make this happen. So the first gesture was excitement, so that we are going to have a blast on board, because yeah. So so it was a very different feeling like never before. And it did happen. We had a couple of parties on board in spite of our busy schedules, and we enjoyed the privilege of being on an all-women ship. So that was one part of the excitement. And secondly, I felt a lot of responsibility because we had to give justice to our ranks. I, as a chief engineer, I have to give justice to my rank, my work, and justice to the opportunity that we girls were given to run all women ship in the first time in the history. It was happening. But it was not my first ship at the rank of chief engineer. I had did one more ship previously. So I felt that I did not feel any difference that managing girls uh, will be something different than managing males, because I had worked at every rank and I was confident that I can, even if I can, then they also can work like
Amazing.
like I did. And if at all they face any difficulty, then I could guide them there. So I was confident. So I was not at all worried about that part, which many people, my male friends, they used to ask me that how are you managing, but I told them that there is nothing like different managing girls than managing males. So yeah.
Okay, that must have been a fun sail with all women. Did
Yeah.
you have, during your sailing years, did you have any incident that converted into a big learning?
Yeah, actually, learnings were many. So one incident which I would like to highlight is when I joined my first ship after doing my class 4 COC, when I joined my first ship as a fourth engineer. So that ship was around 25 years old. So the engine room condition was not very good. There were frequent breakdowns, machinery breakdowns. So when I joined the ship, the chief engineer on board, he put me into the night watch. There are watches on board. So he put me into night watch. So uh, actually it was also a challenge being in the night watch on that old ship, because there were a lot of emergencies and I was the alone person running everywhere in the engine room. And yeah, so that was one thing. And I did it, and after a few days, but I realized that I'm kind of not learning things, because during the day work there was a lot of maintenance work happening. And I realized that I have to learn even that also. So one day, actually it was my first ship, so I did not have much courage to talk or question my chief engineer. And so one day I asked him that why have you put me on night watch, that I'm not learning anything, so I want to do day work. So yeah, so he was uh, that time I feel initially might be he not have worked with any female before that. So that was the I mean, this has to change. And this will change with us, we females who have to prove to them. So yeah, not exactly true, but we have to do our work sincerely. So I don't think if you are sincere in your work, if you are willing to work, then you have to prove anything to anyone. So I just sincerely asked him, and he was happy, and he put me into day work. So yeah, so I feel while after coming to day work also, I was myself not very much confident that I will be able to handle everything, because there was a lot of heavy work. So but that is why I could say that that was the incident that changed my perspective, that I myself realized that I can equally work with all males, and I can do any kind of work even if it is yeah, not restricted to the age of the ship. Yeah.
Cool. And would you like to tell us a little bit about your the current role that you are in? in short, so that we don't run out of time.
Yeah. Okay. It was been 10 years I was sailing. So I decided to shift ashore, and I was exploring for more opportunities all around, and I found this role of performance manager at Anglo Eastern, and I really found it very interesting because this is a new field, and basically performance monitoring is the it is an initiative, we can say, to reduce the fuel cost and reduce the greenhouse gas emissions that IMO has been looking after to do this from many years, and also the Indian government is looking into it. So I feel that to contribute to this cause is a very good feeling, and that's why I feel this role is very exciting and very interesting for me. So the job role, it is monitoring of the sea, improving the energy efficiency, and improving the CII rating of the ship. That is the carbon emissions. We are trying to reduce the carbon emissions from the ship. So we have that is, we are monitoring the ship from here. We are coordinating with them if they are having certain issues. If we find that something is abnormal, we are supporting the vessel. So that is it.
That's amazing. Anything that anybody does for in to stop this climate change, this global warming, I think that's a great initiative. All the best, Supriya. I'm sure you will achieve what you're set out to do. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We move on to our next guest, the youngest of the lot, Bhagyashree. Hi.
Hi, Deepshika.
Hi. So before we begin with you, I want to quickly read a little bit about you. Bhagyashree Ogale, currently sailing as additional first engineer with Teekay tanker. She passed BS in marine engineering from Tolani Marine Institute, affiliated to BITS Pilani, with first class in 2012. She also earned scholarship for academic excellence from her institute in 2011 and 2012. She was awarded by the DG Shipping for being the youngest lady officer to clear MEO Class 4 in 2014 India. That is excellent. So, Bhagyashree, do you feel that you're on the right path? You have met so many seniors from your field today, and they're all excelling in this field and making different milestones. So how do you feel today?
Thank you, Deepshika, first of all, for all the warm words and welcome, and good evening, everyone. I feel really privileged to share this platform with such amazing women today. So I'm really happy to be here.
Amazing. And for your birthday, you recently visited Northern Lights. Your father was just saying that you ran away somewhere and you went to Northern Lights. How was this beautiful phenomenon? Would you like to tell what a surreal phenomenon this was?
Yeah, so Deepshika, actually, Russia is is not a normal place to go and see the Northern Lights. Not many people know that you can see the Northern Lights from Russia, but it's an experience that I feel everyone should have, because when the Northern activity, like lights activity, starts, you forget everything around you and you're just looking at it, and it's a phenomenal experience. And apart from that, it's not just the Northern Lights. We rode a husky sledge. We rode snowmobiles in the Kivini Mountains. Then we went to Siberia for a week. So it's been like a crazy experience. Amazing.
Lovely. I think we should do another little talk on just Northern Lights with you.
I know, because I would just love to tell people that please go to Russia and see what Russia has to offer. Really, it's amazing.
Amazing. Okay. So, like I just read out that you were awarded the youngest lady officer to clear MEO Class 4 2014. Tell us about how you entered into this field. How did you feel like, excellent, you have, academic excellence? How did you feel there, and how did the rest of your classmates react to you coming first all the time?
So actually, my story is a little different. I was sailing from the age of 2 years old to the age of 7 because my dad was in the merchant navy. So I knew about this field, and actually I wanted to join him in business. So he said, so my plan was to do mechanical engineering and then join him in business and things like that. But he said, just try out marine engineering, so you'll get like a full, you'll understand my business better. And then I just remember telling him one thing: I'll join the college, I'll manage everything, but I won't go on ship for sure. I will stay at home because I don't want to leave home. So that was my actual story. I entered into the college thinking that I will never go on ship. And then I got placed in my third year. So my dad said, just go on ship, see how it is, and you'll get to know my business better. And I went on ship and I just loved it. I just fell in love with the job, and I haven't looked back since that day. And my father keeps asking me, when are you going to quit and when are you going to help me in my business? But that day isn't coming. So I don't know. I think you just keep on having expectations.
Oh my God, that is so cool. I'm so sorry, Mr. Sanjeev Ogale. I think you'll have to find somebody else to uh, take over your business. Okay. Tell us, Bhagyashree, like, did you have to work extra hard to prove your mettle on as a marine engineer on board?
So I feel sorry to all the men here, but I feel that women in general have to work in any field twice the amount that a man has to work to achieve the same position. And being a male dominated field, sometimes, yes, you have to always prove yourself. Like every vessel you go, you have a new boss, you have a person who's never been used to working maybe with a female in the past, so you
Right.
have to prove yourself. But I think when there are non-believers, like people who will tell you that you're not going to last and things like that, there are also men who will look at your work and support you in any which ways possible. So I think your work speaks a lot. So, and people will just support you once they know that you are serious about your work.
Amazing, amazing. So, did you have, like you just said, non-believers? Did you have to put up with a lot of non-believers?
So actually, my first experience with a non-believer was when I was giving my final orals in my college, and I didn't perform actually that well. So he said, and he knew my dad. So he said, you know what? I know your father, and he's achieved so much. And I don't think you're meant for this field. I think you should quit immediately. Don't ruin your father's name. And somehow, and I was so devastated just hearing this, because for a 22-year-old, hearing something like this will really break you. But
Right.
then I decided that I will work so hard in this field that one day there will be phone calls coming where people will be asking, like, are you Bhagyashree Ogale's father? And that actually happened. So
Wow.
so it's gone from where to where, and I'm like just happy about that.
Amazing, amazing. So, you know, everybody else already talked about their stories, and they've already said so many things. So, since you are the closest to the young aspirants that are going to be entering into this field, what will be the one advice that you give them?
So
This
the one thing,
try starts out, or
so
whatever.
yeah, so the thing is that when you're in college, you don't know what you're signing up when you will be going on ship, like what kind of job. I don't think we get that kind of like rearing in college, where you know what you are going to do. So I would tell all the aspiring ladies that you join ship and stay in the field only if you like the job. Don't look at the money or the holidays that you're getting. You should like, if your passion is working, then nothing will stop you in this field, but you really need to have the job as a passion. So don't go for the money or the travel or anything, because seriously speaking, in COVID and all, travel and all is not possible also, and you can't even go on the ports and everything all the time. Come on ship for the right reasons.
That is a very good advice, because I have to tell everybody that is watching here. Now Sanjeev is going to freak out. So my father is also a marine engineer, and my mother and my father both had an amazing sailing experience, because they went and sailed on those small ships, and they went to everywhere in Europe, and the ship used to be on one port for 1.5 months, and they would see. I even, as a little kid, I even joined kindergarten, I think somewhere, I think in UK, and I also had a British accent at the time. So all of that. And so my mom was like, I have to get her married to a marine engineer. And ours was an arranged marriage, and I got married to Sanjeev. He had finished all his good sailing, all the smaller ships earlier, and then he was only on the largest oil and ore carrier, which stayed on a port only for 1.5 days. And there was times that we used to reach the port just in the night, and we would leave the next noon. So there was absolutely nothing. So what you said is very right. Please don't go there for the travel, because these days ships don't stay on a port for maximum 2-3 days. So now the
Exactly.
so that is there. Okay, tell us, what do you do in your off time, because you're doing so many other things as well.
So basically, there is this misconception that people have, that because we are sailors, we come home and drink our money away and keep doing partying and stuff like that, because we have all the free time. So this is not true. This is a little weird, because I used to enjoy running. So I have started training under an esteemed runner called Kaustubh Radkar. So he's the only Indian to finish 29 Ironmans. So I train for marathons under him. So 5 days a week, our training starts like at 5:30 in the morning. So I'm up since 4 o'clock, disturbing everybody in the house. So yeah, so I try and do something so my time when I'm off ship doesn't get wasted.
Amazing. So you don't drink away all your money, and you don't drink daru, nothing. You're a good girl.
Yeah. But like, there are other ways of enjoying. Like, I love running, so I do whatever, like all the hobbies and everything that I cannot do on ship, I come home and do that. So I enjoy my life thoroughly.
And shopping.
Amazing. Yes, Sanjeev, you were saying something?
I said shopping. She has not mentioned what she enjoys doing.
There, your father is going to come out with all the secrets now. Okay. I think this wraps up all the incredible guests, all the questions that I needed to ask. I want to go back to thank you, Bhagyashree, for this incredible insight into, this sailing, very, very recent sailing. So I'm sure all the young aspirants will get a lot of takeaways. Ma'am, we're going to come back to you. I want to request you to give our viewers, our other incredible guests that are here today on this panel, to any advice that you would like to give them, so that they can achieve whatever they want to achieve, their dreams.
Thank you, Deepshika. I wouldn't like to give advice as such, because I really don't know who the entire audience is going to be. But we've had such an amazing session, and just hearing to these young, beautiful girls, I realized that there's so much of commonality that we share in terms of wanting to tread the less trodden path. as well as they are all daring. They've got adventure, they are brave hearts, they love challenges. So I think it was something like I was reliving my own story through them when they were narrating their incidents about how I came up and how I grew up. And it's really all that I would like to say to all the young aspirants as well as to all these young brave hearts is that yes, there are plenty of opportunities when people don't believe in you, or they will try to discourage you, and that is actually the time when you need to hold your ground. And no matter whether anybody else believes in you or not, you need to continue believing in your own self and your own determination. And like Bhagyashree said, your own passion will drive you to wherever you are destined to be. And that is the way you need to go on. And don't bother about the negativity around you. It may be there. You may need to work harder. A lot of our speakers today have shared that sentiment. I think we've all shared that commonality. We need to work doubly hard, because not because of any other reason, but because of the fact that you need to prove that you are serious about your career. So I think the mindset will change when there are larger numbers, because we are in such minority, we are not taken seriously, and then you need to work to prove yourself. But when there are larger numbers, I think it will become an acceptable norm. So let's look to the future where we truly have an equality, not in terms of competing with our male counterparts, but if there is a woman who has a passion to do something which is different and which may be a male dominated, I think the men should give her that much of space to bloom the way she wants to live her life. That's all from my side. Thank you, Dipshika.
Thank you so much. That was very, very insightful. Thank you for the lovely advice. And I want, this is the only talk that my husband has actually seen complete from start to finish, because he doesn't watch my talks on the Paradigm Shift page. I'm complaining here. So, Sanjeev, would you like to say anything to all our wonderful guests? Sanjeev Mehra.
Well, all I would like to do is thank everyone, especially Joshi madam, for taking out precious time. I know you're so busy, and we had to have you here on our platform because this was going to be a all women's platform. So I don't know how I've ended up here. So thank you, madam, for taking out time. And I must thank all the participants, Suneeti Bala, Nyari, Reshma, Bhagyashree, Supriya, for participating in this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Joshi, Mr. Joshi, I think you would like to say something. Bataiye.
Yeah, so that's in reaction to what Sanjeev just said, that I don't know how he's landed up here, because that's the way, Sanjeev, I would have loved to have it, because we did all women Swan Krishna. But I think what we are propagating is diversity, and we don't want to live alone. We want to live together. We don't want to compete. We need to complement each other. So I think we need each other.
Well said. I think Reshma wants to say something.
I was going to echo on what Madam Joshi said here, that, when Sanjeev sir mentioned that, I was like, oh, we are tired of talking to just the women in the groups and the panels. We would like panels where there are women also speaking alongside men. So that will be a good thing to have. So it was good today.
Amazing. So thank you, everybody, all the viewers that stayed with us for one whole hour. Considering the fact that today, these days, the attention span is just 8 seconds, and it's just a little more than the goldfish attention of the goldfish. So thank you all the viewers that stayed with us, and thank you all the panelists that came here and shared their insightful stories. Thank you so much. Good evening. Have a great weekend.
I think Ogale sir wants to say something.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, Deepiksha, I wanted to thank you for conducting this session so well. And thank you so much for getting the girls to open up and talk about their careers and what they have done. Really inspiring for the younger generation. And I think this talk should go, I think, to the new entrants who are trying to join the Merchant Navy. Thank you so much, Deepiksha.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ogale. Thank you so much. Good evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.